We're here for Immedia for the week ending March 21st and
March 22nd.
March 22nd, I'm sorry. And we figured we'd do something a little different. You always get to hear what we want you to do, but now we're just going to read from the paper, see what's going on around. Okay?
Okay, that sounds good to me. But before we start, my one request is get those glasses off.
Sure. Okay, we're moving right along here.
Thank you. Sue.
Okay.
And is there a problem, Dave? Dave wanted his glasses back. Dave's our cameraman, and you're going to find out what he's doing this weekend a little bit later on in the show. There you go, Dave.
What you're going to find out is on Saturday, the 21st, Lawrence Fergnati reads from his works at 7:30 at the Smith Baker Center.
Now, the question is, folks, who is
Lawrence
Fergnati?
Ferlignati.
Who is Lawrence Ferlignati?
I don't know, but Stephen Colley also
weekend.
reads from his novel, The Object of My Affection. At 8 p.m. at the Glad Day Bookshop, 43 Winter Street, Boston. Refreshments and a donation of $2. Karen, what do you got there?
Well, let's see. At TT the Bears this weekend, on Saturday, it's the Neats with Yo La Tango. And Joe Harvard and his gang. They're going to be there at TT the Bears in Brookline this weekend. Girls' night out will be at Grover's. You got to catch them. I mean, like 6 girls dressed up in really ugly clothing. What more could you want?
You could want more, but I don't think we will. Okay. However, at the 1369 Jazz Club, Basement Boogie will be there from 3:30 to 7:30. Dave, if you don't stop doing that, I'm going to kill you. And Shy 5 will also be with them. There's a $1 cover charge. And at the Willow Jazz Club, we have Friday and Saturday, the John Driock Quintet, March 20th, 21st, at the Willow Jazz Club.
And immediately after taping, Sue's going to be going to her speech lesson.
Yes, I am. What else have we got here?
Let's see. Okay, well, the Wild Seeds with Treat Her Right and Dump Truck will be there on Saturday. And actually, Wild Seeds are there on Friday with Treat Her Right, and Dump Truck is Saturday with the Cave Dogs and Dixie Cinema. And let's see, Bim Scala Bim, an all-time favorite, will be at Jack's on the 21st, and they're having many bands opening for them that you've never heard of, so whatever. How about you, Sue?
At Stitches this weekend, we have the Dawn Gavin Show with Jonathan Katz, Jim Tingle, and Laura. And on Saturday, the Steve Sweeney Show will be playing over at Stitches. That's at 969 Commonwealth Ave in Boston.
Crowded House, March 20th at the Living Room in Boston. Sue reviewed them last weekend.
Crowded House, they are a great band. You know, I have their album, and they're just kind of wild.
She likes them.
I like them.
And Dave's telling us to talk to this camera now, and I believe I was, but that's okay. You'll meet Dave a little later on. Let's see. What else is going on here, Sue?
I don't know. We got some events coming up. Some things going on. The Jeanette Neal Dance Studio presents its student and faculty repertory show at 8 p.m. at the New England Life Hall on Saturday.
Bill Cosby is going to be at the Wang Center this Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and he's doing a benefit for the Judge Baker Children's Center. Tickets range from, get this, $25 to $1,000.
$1,000?
$1,000.
Front row center.
Yeah.
Well, that ought to be a big show, though. You know it's going to be a big show. Also over at Grover's this weekend, you mentioned Girls' Night Out, but the Nervous Eaters will be there on Saturday, March 25th.
Now that's something to catch.
Coming to the Channel, you know, the Channel is always a really big band around Boston.
The Channel happens to be a club, but we won't mention that.
That's what I meant. You know what I meant, darling. Saturday, March 21st, the November Group. Now, the November Group has been around for a little while. I haven't heard too much from them, but they're pretty good, and they're worth checking out, so you can go over and see them on Saturday.
Friday night at the Channel, it's Rick Berlin the Movie with Gotham City. And let's see, what else is going on? Los Lobos, next Saturday, the 28th, will be there, too, with the Paladins.
Over at Night Stage, which claims it's Boston Magazine's best nightclub, we have Son Seal's Blue Band. Now, I don't know what kind of band that is, and I don't know why they're playing there, but you might want to check them out there on Saturday at 8 and 11. And The Rat this weekend. The Rat is just hellhole of humanity, but it's pretty cool.
Don't eat the food.
Don't
eat the food.
On Saturday, Dump Truck.
I already said that.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I did. And just in case you're getting a little bit bored with us, we got an interview now with a local band Their name's kind of undecided, but it's tentatively a 100-flower campaign, and here they are.
Hi, we're here with 100 Flowers campaign, and we're just kind of talking to them and finding out what they're all about. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
My name is Charles.
My name is Scott.
I think that makes me Paul.
Thanks for
Probably.
the clue.
Probably.
The only one left.
How did you guys, how long have you been together? How did you get started? Start out with the basics. It doesn't have to be down to the minute, but
A couple weeks.
a couple of weeks.
Well, no, actually, we've been with Paul for a couple of weeks. We were. Well, that's a different question. Scott and I. He's the drummer. We've been playing together since.
You play guitar?
Since the spring of '84. And we used to have a bass player, but he's gone, and now we have Paul.
What happened to your last bass player?
He's
No
sort of
identity
moved.
crises or anything.
Well, no, he had a slight identity crisis. He was, he told us he was into playing music for the girls. And when he decided he didn't want the girls anymore, he didn't want the music, so he kind of
Were
moved.
you playing music for the girls?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. So it
Boys.
sounds like your interests were kind of clashing if he was playing for the girls and you weren't.
Well, he was just, I don't know why he was
His
playing.
heart definitely wasn't in the music.
But let's not talk about him because that's history.
But now you have a new bass player.
Right, Paul.
Hey, and I'm in it for the girls, and I still like them.
And he doesn't plan on stop liking them.
That's right.
But it's in his heart also. Hopefully.
But you guys seem to get along well. You seem like you've known each other longer than 2 weeks.
We worked on it.
You worked on it.
We didn't want to be,
We practiced in the car on the way up.
Okay. So how did you get the name 100 Flowers campaign as opposed to 100 Flowers campaign?
because there's
As
no
opposed
such
to
thing as
you with
100 Flowers campaign. You see,
Well,
I took political science, and although I discontinued my scholastic education,
He still has the book.
I still kept my notes because, as every good student should. And I got a call a couple weeks ago from a friend of mine saying, run on down to Newbury Comics, and it's not a plug for Newbury Comics, but run on down to Newbury Comics and look at the front of #1 magazine. And #1 magazine said on the front, Westworld. And it had this picture of some girl, and they're the newest sensation in England. Now, at the time, our name happened to be Westworld.
Westworld.
So we just kind of said, oh, well, and we were kind of bummed out. So I went through my political science notebook looking for something that might be kind of neat, and I stumbled across Chinese history. And Mao, and to get technical, in 1956, he started a thing called 100 Flowers campaign. And it was let 100 flowers bloom, let 100 schools of thought contend. And it was just people could make suggestions on what they thought could make the government better. Well, it turned out that they suggested dump Mao, so Mao didn't like that, and he sent in the Red Army. So the name, it sounds cool. We like it. 100 Flowers campaign.
Doesn't necessarily mean that we're political. though.
No,
That's what I was just going to ask you.
no,
Are
it-
you a political band?
No, it doesn't. We're socially aware. That's all.
Socially aware.
We're socially aware, and the thing is about the name is that we tend to take its symbolism to, you can like us, and that's great. But if you don't, we don't want to hear it. Or else,
Okay.
or else we'll send in the Red Army.
Okay. So, anything you want to ask?
No.
Okay, that's quite all right.
Why don't you tell us about what you're doing now, since we've already gone over the past. What are you doing now? What are you working on?
Right now, we're just rehearsing. We're going through a whole new set. When I went to their house to hear their tape, it took about 5 seconds of the tape for me to say, yes, I want to be in this band. But as much as I liked it, as soon as we started playing together, we started doing something different, which we all liked much better. It was a lot deeper. Is that a good
Clashed really well.
So your sound has changed totally in the past 2 weeks from Westworld to 100
Yeah,
Flowers
it has.
campaign.
It has a lot more depth to it. The only way I could describe it, the easiest way, is if you take a triangle. Okay. Here, can I illustrate? Can this be seen? Here, the triangle's here. Here's me. Here's Scott. Supposedly, here's the third member, correct? And it forms a geometric shape. Well, Leonard, our old bass player, had no depth whatsoever, so he just drew a line
So you
from
had
me
the
to
straight
Scott.
line.
So we had a straight line that had no depth at all. It was two-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, you
No
know,
depth is there.
now there's a
So you
geometric
completed
figure.
the geometric figure and everything's complete and peachy and the flowers are blooming.
Cool.
Anyway, okay, we're back and we're still here with Immedia and we're still reading the Phoenix, and we'd like to send a special thanks to Charles Edwards, who you saw earlier in the band in the interview. He helped me set this whole thing up and he's a really great guy. And for those of you who like to dance, there's a New England Squares and Contras dance for those of you. And
Excuse me, does this has anything to do with the Tower Commission?
I have no idea, but
It could.
hey,
It
Oliver
could.
North may be there too, you know?
No, that's true. It could be.
And it's at 7 Temple Street in Cambridge. Admission is $4. You have to actually pay for this. I don't know. Let's see, what else, Sue?
Hey, you know what? In relation to that, but with no relation at all, the Joshua Tree just
That
came
has
out.
absolutely no
I know
relation.
it doesn't, but I just would like to talk about it. The Joshua Tree is
U2's new album.
U2's new album, and I feel as though we're going into psychedelia here talking about
I do
U2.
too. I feel like my teeth are almost black.
They are. They are.
Okay.
But anyways, we were over at FNX and we were talking about it, and no one could really figure out.
By the way,
Joshua Tree
Sue does, she answers phones at FNX on Saturday morning, so if you ever want to
Call
rap
me.
with Sue,
Call me.
call Sue.
Yes, call me. Have a good time. I'll show you a good time over the phone only.
Yes, she is Frida's fantasy phone.
So the Joshua Tree is a plant that grows.
Can
out-
we say that on the air? We can say that on the air. Go for it.
Okay, we're saying
Joshua Tree.
Frida's fantasy phone. All right, the Joshua Tree is a plant that grows in Arizona, South California, and it was named by the Mormons for its likeness to Joshua, who was like looking for the promised land, and he went ah, and so they said it looked like him. We're talking over here.
Thank
now.
you, Marlon Perkins.
Marlon Perkins, I am, and it's also called the Yucca Palm. I just thought that you'd all like to know. Buy the Joshua Tree, great album. Go out, buy it, live it, love it, learn the dream.
Yes.
What else
wonderful.
going on?
What's going on? Let's see. You could go to Huck's Hideaway this weekend.
Huck's Hideaway?
Yeah, tucked away in Boston's waterfront. It's lies in a lively little night spot which hosts Boston's best dance bands. I have no idea who their dance bands are, and they're probably not Boston's best, but you could go to Huck's.
That's true. You could. Over at Club 3 coming up this weekend, we have F Sharp, Kneeling on Rice, and Rapid Star. That's on Friday, and on Saturday we have.
Kneeling on rice, is that like giving birth in a rice patty kind of deal?
I have no idea. But you might want to go check them out and ask the band themselves why, or in fact, if they are kneeling on rice.
Okay. And if you're into eating disorders, there'll be a talk about that and the impact on the family. And this is by Dennis Sezowski, kind of like Chris Sezowinski or Kevin Sezowinski or whatever.
True.
And it's at the Hanneman Hospital at 9:30 at the Christ Church.
Oh,
Sure.
wait. There's a fashion show going on featuring Dare. Begins at noon at the dining room at the Ritz-Carlton, Boston, and it is free with lunch.
That's exciting. If you need free food, if you're
Actually,
like,
no, you have to buy lunch, but the fashion show is free. Actually, I think that they have those almost every Saturday.
they do. They have them every Saturday. Take
So
it
if
from
you
someone.
ever want some fashion, you know, just go
And
over there and
yeah.
have some dinner.
It's great. It only costs you like
Possible.
$150 to eat lunch there, but that's okay. Let's see what's going on in galleries this weekend. The Chuds Gallery is displaying 19th and 20th century paintings by women, and that's on 169 Boston Street, Newbury Street in Boston, for those of us with a lisp, and dyslexia and anything else you'd like to go on about.
Oh, hey, you know what's been going on that is kind of neat, kind of fun, kind of hip-hop? Oh, we're over here now. The New England Flower Show, and it's featuring Gardens of the World. It's been going on for a while here.
Yep,
it runs
about the
from
past
10
3
a.m.
weeks.
to 10 p.m. And the weekends through the 20th and the 21st until 8 p.m. This is really confusing, but it is at the Bayside Exposition Center. Exit 15 off Route 93, Boston. Tickets $6, $5 in advance. Call 536-9280 if you want some more information, because I really botched that up. Karen, what do you got?
It's okay. Well, the Harvard Bookstore Cafe is displaying color photographs by Douglas.
You're over there.
I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong camera. That's okay. All right. the Harvard Bookstore Cafe is displaying color photographs by Douglas Cannon. And if you just like want to go in there, sit down, have like some cappuccino, and browse through a book and look at the photographs, it's great.
Hey, you know what is a really good little hole in the wall we found in Kenmore Square? There's a place called Mississippi's. It's a soup shop. It's really good.
Soup shop?
Yeah, so if you want to just have a cup of cappuccino and look at no pictures whatsoever, you can go there.
Go to Mississippi's.
Yeah. You know what I'd like to mention? That the top 10 singles, Dave.
What are you going to do, Dave? Dave, come on, Dave.
Come
this
on,
is where
Dave.
you get to meet Dave. Dave is about to leave the studio. Come on, Dave.
He's making a fast escape.
Dave, and if I could unhook myself, I'd go get Dave. I am unhooking myself. You babble, Sue.
Yes, I'd like to babble. I'd just like to say that if you're a WFNX listener, which you should be, you can see that I'm sensing a great deal of violence in this studio. See, we do read the Phoenix. It is a great source of arts and entertainments, and we were just looking through some singles here. The top 10 singles are XTC, The Smiths, Del Fuegos, U2, The Cult, Vigil, The Smithereens, Prince, Simply Red, and the House Martins. I don't know if you've heard the House Martins, but they're... Len.
I do.
Len, hey, pick up a lab, grab yourself a mic.
First, guesting on one of the high schoolers' programs.
This isn't a high schoolers program. We have club listings here.
But
Of course,
it's
only if you have a good ID.
produced
it's a
by
high
you
schoolers.
people. I'm just here to introduce the piece that I gave you guys.
Oh, you are? Okay, Len's got a piece coming up first. What would you like to say?
Now, obviously, we couldn't get Dave Keys
Did Dave
to come on
escape?
camera.
Dave
Hi.
attempted to beat me up in the hallway. I don't know. I'm sorry, Len.
That's
Go for
okay.
it.
That's okay. I'm gonna be right out of here. Okay.
okay, don't worry.
I gave you guys some footage. Dave Shaheen over at Channel 13, which isn't very far away, gave us some. No, he didn't give us. I did it with him. I produced it. Never mind. I did an interview with a Hollywood director.
Ooh.
Yes, and his name is Virgil Vogel, and he directs Spencer, and he was the producer of Wagon Train, and he directed The Big Valley, and any outdoorsy types of cowboy shows and adventure shows that you guys can think of, or anybody can think of. He
Did he
directed.
do
Bonanza too, he did it.
Oh, and Little Joe. Little Joe, you get on into this ranch.
His,
Mel, when you were like 12, did you not have like the biggest crush on Little Joe?
Yeah, I did.
Or like when you were 8, but you did.
He was
And
really
Dave, don't even try and lock us in the studio
I-
because it's not going to work.
Okay, Len.
I can't say I had a crush on him, but that's another
No.
story.
I did.
But now,
Little Joe.
his favorite episode, as he'll say in the interview, I don't know if you're going to show that part, was when they set the Ponderosa on fire.
I saw that.
Did you see that one? That's the
I
most.
like that
That
one.
won an Emmy.
I like
Won
that
an
one.
Emmy.
We're talking
Anyway,
about
I'm going to leave and give Karen back her seat.
All right.
And you want to go right into it now?
I think we'll probably go into the interview. You may not get all of it this week.
No, you're not going to get all of it. We got to save it.
Yeah, we
space
gotta.
it out.
Yeah, because we gotta keep you like
We're
running
hurting.
it. You
We're
know,
hurting
like
for material.
anticipation.
Okay.
You know, like Heinz ketchup and all that stuff. But anyway, I'm sorry. Don't look at me like that.
Well, actually, you know what? I'd like
I
to.
have the mic on, so you probably can't
Oh, I'm
hear
sorry.
me. It's all
I
right,
took
don't
your
worry about
mic.
it.
Let's just all go out and.
Let's watch this interview
Let's
right
go.
now.
Let's,
Goodbye.
yeah, let's go. Come on.
How much say does an actor have in what they do?
Well, the directors like to think that they have very little. They're there to act as they are directed. But I remember an incident on a show I was doing some years ago when my first assistant, and the actor had a tremendous argument right at lunchtime, and it was almost physical. So we broke the company and sent everyone to lunch. And my assistant went to the phone and called the producer's office. And he told the producer that he just had this tremendous argument with the actor, and the actor was wrong. And he said, "You're going to back me in this, aren't you?" And the producer said, "I don't know, can you act?" So, in other words, they really do exercise tremendous amount of control over if they don't like it, you can't force them to do something that they don't like. Your only hope is to reason with them and get them to
can't you fire them?
No, I mean, you don't fire personalities because the personality that you hired. I remember a story about Jules Dassin some years ago with Loretta Young when he was on the stage and they were doing a big movie and he had a tremendous argument with her. And he stormed off the stage and went to Zanuck's office, broke in through his outer secretary and his inner secretary, pushed up to his desk and said, I quit. And Zanuck says, you can't quit. Because the moment you left that stage, you were fired. You know, so even in those days, of the big movies and the big directors, they have to get along with their stars they're working with. It's imperative. And of course, if you're a producer of a film, you don't want your director and your star to be fighting. One of them has to go, and generally it's the director.
Because everyone is used to the face of the star.
That's right.
I see.
That's right.
How much there are casting directors and there are directors. How closely does the casting director and the director work together in picking people?
Oh, very close. Very close. And generally, you do it in. I would like to work with the casting director and narrow it down to 2 or 3 choices, and then we'll bring the producer in on it, and he'll come in on the discussions about who should play the role. Sometimes before we cast them, we all have what we call the pre-casting meeting, where we decide who we'd like to have. And then in today's market, we go out and find out who's available. There is an awful lot of work out there today. Most everyone who has ability is working.
Is there anything in the film industry that you haven't done that you would like to do someday, that you haven't had the chance yet?
No. I would like to make my own film like Orson Welles did a couple of times. But I don't think I have the energy anymore that takes to raise your own money. And
you have a script?
Well, I have a suitcase full of scripts, and which we're trying to do. But the ideal way to make a picture is to have your own money and answer to no one. But filmmaking is so expensive today that that's almost impossible.
Have you thought of doing it in video?
Video I've thought about, yes. Let's talk to you later and learn a little bit about it.
Fade it up.
Oh, that was
That
was pretty exciting. I'm gonna get you.
Now, just hang on.
I mean, if you ever get into TV, putting on
You're
mics
gonna have
is the
fun
hardest.
playing.
Yeah, especially when you're a boy, you get nothing to hook it to them. But we're back. The interview.
We're back. I'm gonna grab
I'm
my
sure you were as delighted with it as we were.
I mean,
was quite
the
delighted myself.
popcorn Orville Redenbacher is the best, without a doubt.
Yeah, but only if you put it in the microwave.
Oh, of course.
And with the 3 pounds of butter, I think it probably helps. Okay,
Yeah.
why don't we just
We're
jump
gonna-
right in for some movies here?
We're gonna. Oh wait, we didn't do plays though. We did not do plays around town. And what are these people gonna do if they can't like be cultural and go to the theater this weekend?
Oh, you know what's playing is you know what I saw?
What's playing?
Boys in the Band. Did you ever see that? That was a movie.
Yep, I did. Amazing movie.
Boys in the Band. It's going to be at the Paramount Penthouse Theater.
Amazing. Hold your paper
And it's
down
being
so we can see
presented
your
by
face.
the Triangle Theater Company.
We're talking to this camera
And
right
we're
now.
talking to this camera.
And
Hi.
Len's moving it, so if you're getting a little camera action, that's okay. You met Len. He's pretty cool. Let's see. Play by play. Let's see
you know-
what's here.
Funny thing happened on the way to the forum. I've heard a lot about that, and a lot of different companies and troops have been putting it
Yep.
on. And Saturday at 3, they will be putting it on at
When are they putting it on, Sue?
I don't know. They're putting it on.
They're putting it on
Saturday at
sometime in the
3.
near future.
Oh, at the Colonial Theater, 106 Boylston Street in Boston. What is that place?
Let's see. Well, what's here? Sweet Table at the Richelieu. That's my plans for this weekend. I'm headed
Over
out
here?
with. I think we're talking to this camera now. Someone just came flying across the studio and almost fell on his rear end, and they're trying
Look
to
at
tell
him
us to talk to
go.
this camera. And it might be a good idea if someone came out here to cue us so we know which camera we're on. But hey, That's all right. Sweet Table at the Richelieu is playing. It's being presented by the American Repertory Theater, and it's playing at the Leob Drama Center on 64 Brattle Street in Cambridge, and it takes place in on a remote alpine resort, and it's supposed to be really good.
Hey, if you're into sex and violence all together in one show, Brenda Behan's raucous tragic comedy about Irish Republicans, The Hostage, at the Merrimack Repertory Theater, 50 East Merrimack Street in Lowell. I was in Lowell once.
Lowell. Many good-looking Italians live in Lowell, so I mean, let me tell you, take the train to Lowell.
March 20th, I did. March 20th through April 11th, curtain at 8 p.m. Friday and Saturday, and 2 and 7 p.m. on Sunday. Tickets 8 to 15.
And another part of the American Repertory Theater's new stage series, Sweet Table at the Richelieu is one, is the Day Room. It's Luigi Pirandello's. Why don't you get in the middle so that we can see you instead of standing over there in a corner, okay?
How am I going to hear him?
You have a headset, Dave.
I can get here, that's it.
Oh, okay, that's fine. At least you're someone in the middle so that we can see you. He's like
I
over
don't know
there
whether you
standing in the
noticed,
corner.
but this is a pretty casual show. We thought that we'd just kind of go behind the scenes and show you what
It's what you call improv Swampscott instead of improv Boston, okay?
And it's also what goes on before we put the show in.
Yeah, so now you get to
just kind
see.
of sit here and think of things.
I was telling you about the Day Room. It's Luigi Pirandello's story of psychiatry. And it's supposed to be really good, so if you can get out and catch that. The ART's new stage series, it's the last week for all their performances, so everything ends like Tuesday at the latest, so get out there this weekend and do it.
Oh, Nonsense? I believe it. Did you do a review on that?
Not a review, but I told them to get their buns out there and do it several times.
If you haven't taken Karen's advice and
talk to that camera.
Sorry if you didn't. Nonsense will be playing Tuesday through Friday at 6:30 and 9:30, on Saturday with matinees at 2 p.m. and on Thursday at 3 p.m. on Sunday. This is very confusing. Tickets $17.50 to $25.50. That I know, and I also know that it's got wonderful reviews, and you should go see it.
Wonderful, wonderful reviews, and Dave agrees with us. Anyway, it's probably time to head on to movies before you guys fall asleep or whatever. So, movies in suburbia this weekend. Let's go for it. We're going to this camera now. Lexington. Where are you?
Decline of the American Empire. I'm on page 33.
32.
Decline of the American Empire and Round Midnight. They are at Lexington.
But who goes to Lexington? This is Swampscott
that's true.
and Marblehead. He goes to Lexington.
Dave
He's going to
goes
be
to
in Lexington this weekend.
All right, but if you don't go to Lexington, but you do go into Boston, you can go to the Copley Place, Gospel According to Vic, Blue Velvet, The Good Father, Square Dance, A Room with a View, El Amor Brujo, Heat, Hannah and Her Sisters, Mannequin.
Are you going to leave some for me, or are you just going to go through all of them?
Go for the Nickelodeon.
The Nickelodeon is awesome. You've got to go to the Nickelodeon. Radio Days, the Gay and Lesbian Film Festival, Betty Blue, Lizzie Borden's Working Girls, Marilyn, and Marlena, excuse me, for those of us who are blind. I know, I'm just a little, I'm temporarily mongoloid.
And Scene of the Crime.
Scene of the Crime, thank you.
What about Harvard Square?
Harvard Square, where is Harvard Square? Let's see.
Below the Nickelodeon.
Oh, there it is, thank you. Platoon, you saw my review for Platoon last weekend. It's a must, go see it. Betty Blue, A Room with a View, Rocky Horror Picture Show at 12:15. Stop Making Sense at 12:15 as well. Something Wild, Radio Days, and that's about it.
Also, a note on Platoon, if you are going to go out and see it, get out now, because I believe that in about a week, they said, Platoon will be taken out of the theaters to be re-edited.
Okay. Let's see, what else? What's a little bit closer to home?
Dave looks confused. Dave looks confused. They're re-editing it because they said that it was too real to life and too gory.
But get out there and see it.
Yes,
it does sound Republican to me. And Dave's Republican, and as soon as we get off here, we're going to beat him because we're both Democrats.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Dave, if you have comments to make, please come up here.
Yeah, but Dave's too chicken because Dave's a wimp.
Well, gee, that really wraps it up for my weekend.
Wait, you didn't hit Danvers, you didn't hit, like Salem, you didn't do anything. And we're over here now. Come on, get with it. Danvers, Platoon, Salem. Outrageous Fortune at the Danvers 1 and 2. Let's see what's in Peabody for you. Peabody Cinema, Witchboard, which I heard wasn't that great. I don't know. Black Widow.
Wait, Dave said it was horrible.
Dave hasn't seen it. but Dave says it's horrible. Anyway, Black Widow and Heat. I have no idea what Heat is.
Oh, Burt Reynolds is in it.
Ah, don't bother. Revere, Some Kind of Wonderful, Wanted Dead or Alive, American Tail. If I could get anyone to go with me, I'd go see it, but no one will go with me. And
American Tail?
Yes, I want to go see Five-O.
I watched what is it? The Ebert and Cisco.
Cisco.
And they said that
Cisco?
What's his name? Well, I don't know what his name is, the Cisco kid. They said that American Tail was extremely depressing and that psychologists think that it might possibly be detrimental to your health because it is so depressing.
And
there's no happiness in it.
Everything
However,
is detrimental to our
another
health.
movie that a little bizarre, maybe not depressing, a little bizarre, is Angel Heart, and it's been getting wonderful reviews. I was talking to someone yesterday, they said it was great. It will be at USA Cinemas Charles, Somerville, Chestnut Hill, Natick, Braintree, Burlington Mall, and Danvers.
Okay, I think that about wraps it up for
My
us
weekend's
tonight.
full.
Yep.
Thanks a lot for taking a look behind the scenes this week at, where are we?
We're Immedia, that's us, Immedia.
And we'd like to give our greatest thanks to Dave, who has been guiding us through it all.
And
Dave
to Len.
really wrote all this stuff. And Len,
Yes,
Len has been a great help also.
Yes, Dave stays up late nights writing the Phoenix. He does.
I do. I take the pictures.
Yes, yes, most definitely.
Well, that's all we have for Immedia. Thanks a lot. Join us next
week. God knows what we'll have for you then, but hey, we'll think of something new and interesting. See you later.
Bye.